Let's talk about Slog 2 and how to expose. So I'm using the Sony a6500 and I'm shooting Slog 2. There are plenty of ways how to do it, but this is just how I do it and it's been working for me. Okay, so this number needs to be at +2. Right now it's at 0.3, minus 0.3. So what I do is that I either adjust the ISO or I adjust the aperture, which I do here. So when I open up the aperture, it will let in more light. Right now it's at 1.3. Now it's perfect at 2. Now look what happens when I open up even more. You see, it starts to blink. When it starts to blink, it means it's more than 2. It could be at 3 or even 4. So a pro tip that I do is that I work myself up to the number 2. Right now it's 0. And then I work myself up. 1, 1.7. Right there. Right now it's about 2, so it's perfect. This shot will not get overexposed no matter what. Alright, so let's say I were to expose this shot right here. I have it on f22. Now it's f11 and it says perfectly at 2, not even blinking, which means it's 2 based on where I'm pointing the camera. So overall in this image, the exposure is +2. So let's say. Now we can take a look and see how it looked in post. Okay, so what do we know? We know that this number needs to be around 2. Right now it's at 0. But this number will change all the time depending on where you point the camera. If I were to point the camera in this dark, you see how it went down to -2, which is way underexposed. But if I point the camera out the windows, it's at 2. So this is perfect. Now a pro tip is that right now it's at 1.3, but you don't know if that's on the left side of the image or it's on the right side. So if we point a little bit to the right, it goes down. And we point the camera where it's very bright, it goes up. So 1.3 is somewhere in the middle. Okay, so if you really do not want to overexpose your shot, overexpose your windows, then you just have to point your camera where it's brightest and make sure that number stays at 2. So let's do that right now. What you can easily do is that you walk up to the windows, the brightest part. Right now it's blinking, right? So what I can do is that I turn the aperture. Right now it's at 1.7. That's 2. So the windows will not be overexposed way too much with these settings. But as you can see, this part is underexposed. Well, that part is perfectly exposed, the windows. So what I typically do is that I open the aperture a little bit more to find a middle ground between this part and that part. So right now the number 2 is blinking, so it's kind of overexposed here, but we still get some details outside. You need to remember that it's the interiors that you want to expose right. This is the darkest part of my shot. Stays about 1.3. That's doable because I still want to retain some highlights here. Let's try Let's try a gimbal move here. Just walk straight. You see how the 2 is blinking? And walk back. I hope you have a better understanding now of how, at least how I expose Slog 2, and it's been working for me. But I think I recommend that you turn on the histogram actually. Alright, so now that you know how to expose right for Slog 2, you can download the LUT that I have for you guys in the link in the description below and see how it works out for you. Yeah, that's it. Bye.